Evening, everybody. I know, I said I'd be making videos regularly again, and albeit it's later in the day than I want it to be when I made this, but things keep happening, and, well, I have to deal with them or they won't get done, kind of thing. But kind of a more important video, and I don't really like doing more generalized videos, but this is an important general topic for narcissistic abuse, borderlines, exploitation, bullying, hazing, really any type of abuse, because this is a really broad subject that all abuse victims need to be aware of, because it's something that your abuser or their enablers are going to try to pull on you to make you, think that what you went through isn't valid and that you should just let it go. And of course, there's always keep quiet, sweep it under the rug, because telling the truth is bad when it exposes an abuser or a good old boy. So, your trauma is still valid if, and I have 6 points I want to talk about for this video. One of the things that your abusers will say to try to invalidate your trauma is to tell you how others have it worse. And, oh, well, you think you have it bad, so-and-so has it like this. And the funny thing about these arguments is it would always be irrelevant when an abuser tries to tell you your situation isn't so bad, is they'll never mention the details of why so-and-so has it worse. Like, oh, well, you hate your job, look at poor so-and-so. It's like, poor so-and-so has 4 DUIs and dropped out of high school. Like, what are they really qualified for? Merit and educational, that's supposed to matter. No, we told you that, but now we changed our mind, so everything's retroactively changed. And they'll do that with abuse too. It'll always be, well, this one has it even worse. So you're not even denying that you're abusive. You're just saying, well, other people have abuse worse. And I've said it in other videos, not mentioned here. Broken is broken. If you take a plate, you throw it on the ground, whether it breaks into 3 pieces or 10 pieces, it's still broken. It's unusable. Broken is broken. I have notes for this one. The next one is someone who went through the same thing is doing better. Now, that's another thing. Oh, so-and-so went through a similar thing, but, they're doing just fine. Well, there's a lot of factors in recovery. And like I've said in a lot of other videos, abuse is cumulative. The more abuse you go through, especially different types that hit you on different angles, the worse you're going to be off. Also, the longevity, how long it's continued for. How long, have you been in that mindset that this is okay or this is normalized and acceptable? Things of that nature. That's all important factors in this. And also, what was so-and-so's support system? If you're trying to recover from something and you're alone and you don't have connections and the only one there to pick you up is yourself, you're not going to be doing well as somebody who, has an army of people to aid them in their recovery and speed things up and give them the things they need and perhaps, give them things that make their life better that perhaps they're not even qualified for. You see that a lot in areas that are all about the nepotism and the cronyism. Yeah, I mean here. So, and also how you handle, each person handles abuse or different types of abuse is different. We're all different. We have different personality types. Different things bother people differently. Like some types of abuse hit harder than others for certain types of people. Your tolerances are different. There's so many factors, but abusers and their enablers, everything's cookie cutter. And it's all about what somebody else is doing or has or went through. But the specifics are never relevant. Next one, this is a big important one that they love to use. It happened a long time ago. Maybe, but what if there was no justice for that action? What if it was swept under the rug at the time? or worse yet, said that it wasn't a big deal at all, like it was out in the open, but people just brushed it aside because, well, the abuser's in the club, and we can't we can't hold people in the club responsible, so no justice for you. You just get over it, and you'll be vilified if you dare speak out against this duke, this earl, this paragon of society who did nothing other than, were born to who they were born to. Yes, Andrew Windsor, you again. I'm talking about you again. I hate that man. But things of that nature, they'll try to tell you it's just let it go. Don't bring it up. No, bring it up. Make them answer for it. Next one is one we've all had. You were told it doesn't matter. See, you're not in the club, and if you're a black sheep like me, you have no rights. See, where I come from, you're chosen at a very young age, whether or not your life has any meaning or not. Mine, of course, didn't. And if it doesn't, you have no rights, and whatever happens to you doesn't matter, and you can't complain about it. You just do what you're told. That's your role, to be this drone in the Borg cube. And, always be thankful and heap praise on, the great chosen ones who cast the scraps upon you. Also, if you were born after 1964, where I'm from, you are a second-class citizen. You don't have and can never obtain the amount of rights that every baby boomer has. Even if that baby boomer is a chronically unemployed alcoholic wife beater, he is a baby boomer and should be treated with respect. I know how crazy this sounds, but I am telling the truth, as I always do. So yeah, they'll tell you that it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because it happens to you. And especially true in narcissistic abuse, because remember, if it doesn't happen to the narcissist, it doesn't matter. Only the narcissist matters. Everybody else exists to please the narcissist. Next, they'll tell you how it's your fault. Basically, how you could have avoided it. That's right. It's your fault that you got targeted, that you faced abuse. My own mother told me this about the bullying and hazing that I endured at the fire department, because it was my fault for being a witch. See, this goes back to the rights thing. If you're Christian and you want to wear Christian jewelry or whatever, that's fine. And you can talk about it, but see, religious freedom, in my mother's mind, and of course to the other Chestertologists, means you can be whatever type of Christian you want, but that's it. That's it. Maybe, they're in their greatness, in their mercy, they'll tolerate if somebody says like Happy Hanukkah or something, because it's like, well, I guess we have to tolerate the Jews. They're pretty powerful now. But anybody else is like, how dare you? Like, fall in line. Like, you can't, And I wasn't even talking about my religion. I simply wore a necklace, It would pop out of my shirt from time to time, and there were times when I was shirtless, and there it would be. But yeah, no, it was my fault, because it's, you would, if one of the good old boys, which my abuser was a textbook good old boy, doesn't like you, it's like, well, that's perfectly fine. It's his club. See, he's entitled to that job because he had family there. It doesn't matter how he performs or what the rules are. They don't apply to him. He is a prince, and which is the predominant culture where I grew up that they're proud of. Like, most places, yeah, there's still some of that goes on, but they try to hide it. And, just like in Arlington, when it comes to light, they do have to do something about it and hold people responsible. Not where I'm from. That's the way it's always been and the way it's supposed to be. And we're proudly corrupt. And how dare you point out our corruption? That people might make us change because the rest of the world's screwed up. That kind of thing. So yeah, it'll be your fault for not avoiding it. How dare you anger this person who was born better than you? Like, how dare, you should be honored that they even gave you attention. I've heard that in some dark ways too. Involving some, some women roughly my age and some good old boy baby boomer men. And this was baby boomer women making excuses for those men. How sick is that? It just shows the depths of their tribalism. And finally, no one knows about it. So yeah, they'll tell you that no one will believe you, that, no one will want to listen to you, because as we know, the narcissists and their enablers, they wear their masks so well. But the thing about abusers is there's rarely just one victim. And when the first one speaks up, the others usually come forward too. That happened in my case in the fire department. I wasn't my abuser's first victim. They were just afraid to speak up. And it helped that, I reported it and we had an official investigation done too. So there was testimony and evidence and that kind of stuff. But yeah, no one knows about it because there's usually fear and intimidation and victim blaming that you anticipate, which can, at least in some ways, be negated when multiple victims of that abuser are willing to speak up. So despite these things, despite these tactics that your abusers will use to try to invalidate what you went through in order to perpetuate the one thing that they love oh so much, their precious, precious mask and precious status quo. No, your abuse is still valid, and as always, I encourage you to tell the truth and nothing but the truth, because it doesn't matter who your abuser is, it matters what they did, and the truth deserves to be known. So I hope this video was helpful. Please like and subscribe. Go through my playlist, watch older videos that I hope were helpful too. If you can, support the channel. The links are in the About section. Follow me on Instagram would also be a big help, and that doesn't cost you anything. And remember, the truth deserves to be known. Always.